Hello guys and happy new year one and all. We are back for championship predictions for the first games of 2025. I'm joined as always by Sophie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. And I think because it's the end of the year, it gives us an opportunity to say a big thank you to you guys. Honestly, thank you so much for your support this year. Whether you are a regular viewer or someone who's joined us recently, we really appreciate it. Let's go for one last bit of support in 2024. If you've not already hit the like button, let's go for
2025. 2025, it's fitting.
2025 likes, there you go. Yeah, it is fitting, isn't it? Drop a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're now this close to 87,000 subscribers, and that is down to your brilliant support. And actually, before we get into the predictions, one last plug. I'm going to just plug something that we don't usually do. The Patreon. In the first link of the description, you will see the link to our Patreon where you could support us financially. Now, by no means do you have to, but seeing as it's the end of the year and we never usually plug it, feel free to get involved if you think we've earned it from you. We've already got some fantastic people that support us over there, and there are a couple of perks to doing it as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can feature in the outro of every video.
There you go. You become famous. But guys, like I say, by no means do you have to, but if you can, feel free. It's the first link in the description. Let's talk about the predictions, Sophie. Last time it was a draw. We didn't get any bang on. We both got 4 outcomes right, and it does mean that you're still 22 points behind going into 2025. Should we just get into it?
Yeah, let's not sugarcoat it because that's pretty poor from us both, really.
Yeah, look, we have been rubbish. Let's not talk about it. On to the first game, Sophie. We go to Home Park. Plymouth Argyle take on Bristol City. Look, Plymouth at this moment in time, Sophie, still have Rooney, but
I think it's his last game, isn't it?
Oh, he's on the edge, isn't he? He is on the edge. He is literally teetering over the edge. Look, they had a decent start to the season. They're always better at home than they are away. But the home form has dried up a little bit, and now, away from home, they're just getting smashed. And then they're also losing to the teams around them, which is terrible, really, in a relegation scrap. Plymouth need a result. Preferably they need a win, but they just need something. Let's talk about Bristol City, Sophie. Pretty good recently. Back-to-back home wins. We like Bristol City. They're up to 10th now. They're not far off the playoffs, but they blow hot and cold. And look, Bristol City are the favourites for me, but it does feel like a bigger game for Plymouth. It feels like a massive game for them. I'm not going to go for them, but I will give them something. I'm going to give Plymouth a draw. 3-3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
3-1 then.
Do share your thoughts if you're a Plymouth or Bristol City fan. I'm just going to slightly record over this bit because myself and Sophie did have a little conversation in the video about if they lose this game, would Wayne Rooney get sacked? And then they've sacked him just after we recorded the video anyway. So share your thoughts if you're a Plymouth fan. Personally, I think it can only be good news. They weren't going in the right direction. Who do you want to bring in as manager, and do you think you could still stay up? Let us know. On to the next one, Sophie. Queen's Park Rangers take on Watford. Interesting this, Sophie. QPR with a really decent draw at Norwich. Nearly won. Norwich equalised late on. As for Watford, though, their brilliant home form came crashing to an end. You know, the brilliant home run, should I say. I think it was about 9 months they were unbeaten at home. And Cardiff City rocked up there and beat them, who were in the bottom 3, weren't they?
Yeah.
I think they still are, but
I think so.
Oh, this is a massive game. Massive game. I don't know. Watford need to go back to winning ways. I prefer them at home, even though they lost at home last time. I'm going to go for QPR, though.
I am as well, actually.
You're saying 2-1.
I'm saying 2-1. I just fancy QPR more when they're at home. I feel like their home form has improved in the past couple of months. And then you could say the same for Watford as well. At home, you just wouldn't back against them. And then they had that surprise defeat at home to Cardiff. Obviously, they're going to want a reaction, but right now, I fancy QPR as well, so 2-1.
Yeah, both go 2-1 to the R's. Does feel like these two are both better at home, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. Share your thoughts on that one. Next up, we go to the Den as Millwall take on Oxford United in a Gary Rowett derby. He has had the desired effect, hasn't he? Because let's not forget, though, Sophie, with Oxford, when they sacked Des Buckingham, our first reactions were, that's harsh. That's harsh.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
right, and it's not so bad.
If you get it right, it's the brutal world of football. You can
still early though, isn't it?
You could do better. it would be quite a result if they go and win away from home now. We saw Millwall a couple of days ago against Coventry, and they were pretty solid.
Poor though.
I thought
it was two poor teams going at it really.
First half they were decent. Second half they just sort of absorbed the pressure. But I thought they were very experienced in knowing how to limit Coventry. And of course we need to mention that Alex Neil will be taking charge for this one. So it's two new managers butting heads. I don't think there's a lot in it. It could be a draw. But I just think with Millwall having the home advantage, they've got to try and tick off 3 points here. And let's go for a winning start. Millwall 1-0.
Oh, okay. You're going back to Millwall 1-0 ways. I'm actually going to go for a 1-1 draw. I feel like Millwall might play a little bit more open in this one, having Alex Neil now, being the home side. And I think that's where they might concede 1 goal. And Oxford are in pretty good form at the moment under their new manager. So, yeah, I'm going down the middle. 1-1.
1-1. Do share your thoughts, guys. Yeah, I was thinking 1-1, but there you go. I went for 1-0.
No, I can see why you backed Millwall 1-0 as well, to be fair.
Next up, we go to Turf Moor as Burnley take on Stoke City. Burnley were involved in a 0-0 draw against Middlesbrough. It's been a pretty reasonable couple of games over Christmas to go away to Sheffield United and Middlesbrough and get 4 points and not concede. You know, and remember when they went away to Leeds, they won and they kept a clean sheet 1-0 again.
True.
They're doing well in the big games, aren't they? Got to just make sure they're consistent in these games against a team like Stoke, who are currently in the bottom half. But Stoke deserves some credit, Sophie, because they beat Sunderland last time with Cannon's goal in stoppage time. This is what we mean about Stoke City.
I know.
Weird, honestly. I think it was just after we recorded last time they sacked Pelak, and then there you go, they have the desired effect. Strange team, Stoke, but I'm going to go for Burnley 1-0.
2-0 Burnley, because what I feel like with Stoke is they will turn up for one in every, say, 5 or 6 games. They're just a really, really tricky team to predict. I don't think either of us have got any of their scorelines bang on all season.
Probably
and we probably won't as well. But Burnley, defensively solid. Parker, as much as sometimes he frustrates me as a manager, and I feel like, what are you doing? He clearly knows a lot more than I do, because he'll get it right in the right games, if you get what I'm saying.
You're saying that like it's a surprise. Football manager knows more than Sophie.
That is a surprise, thank you very much. But no, genuinely, sometimes I'm like, why have you dropped that player? Why aren't you starting that player? And then, he gets the 3 points. You're like, oh, that's fine. So, I think he knows how to get the 3 points in big games, but equally, when you're pushing for the top 2, every game then becomes big games. So
that's a good point.
2-0, I think they'll do it in this one. Yeah,
both backing Burnley to beat Stoke. Do share your thoughts on that one. Next up, we go to a CCFC derby as Cardiff host Coventry. I'm kind of glad to see the back of 2024. The first 3 months were really good. January, February, March. Going on an FA Cup run, getting to the verge of the playoffs, and then last season petered out, frustration against Manchester United, and then so far this season just one disaster after the other, losing our long-serving manager, but his recruitment wasn't good enough as well. Some frustrating results, the lack of goals, the lack of defensive awareness, and that 0-0 against Millwall I thought was quite frustrating.
It was.
Look, I'll take the positives that we got a clean sheet, but is that where we're at? That we just sort of like, yes, that's a good result?
No, it wasn't a good result. As you say, we've been that defensively poor that to get a clean sheet from a team that's not attacking us, I think their possession was almost like 2%. It's just, it was just dire, wasn't it? So you try and take any positives from that game, and one of them was the clean sheet. Yeah,
look, also, we've made it to January now, and as I said before, Doug King, if you actually want big things to happen, spend big. We've got 2 away games, Cardiff and Norwich. Both tricky. Norwich we never win at, so I feel like we've got to try and get something here. I don't feel super confident though, Sophie, because we're missing Mason Clark and Hadji Wright, and Cardiff are a tricky customer. Let's talk about them. They've just gone away to Watford and won. They really could have beat us at the CBS this season. We had that penalty that rescued a draw. I don't think it's going to be easy, and I don't think a draw's a bad result. I'm not being too negative, but I just think Cardiff, the thing is, these teams at the bottom, when we went away to Portsmouth, we underestimated them. They smashed us. teams at the bottom will give you a hard time. And I'll go for a draw. I'd love to win, but please don't lose. I just don't think we've got a lot of goals in us. I'll go 1-1.
Yeah, I genuinely would have backed a draw even if Cardiff had lost against Watford. That's how I'm feeling right now. I feel like they're going to almost play a little bit similar to Millwall. If they decide to, no, we're going to play attacking football, then I'll be more concerned that we're going to lose this game. But if they think, okay, we'll sit back, maybe show us a bit too much respect, and I don't know where our goals are going to come from, to be fair. I think we maybe need a change up top, whether we go 2 up top, which I don't think we'll do away from home, or swap out Bissett for Sims. Then, yeah, maybe we can get a goal and get something there, but I think 3 points is a big ask. So, yeah, I'm going down the middle and saying 1-1.
Both going 1-1. Yeah, do share your thoughts. I know that Coventry, we're taking like nearly... over 2,000.
2,000, then we can pay on the gate as well, yeah.
That's brilliant support, you know. And then we're going to be taking about 2,000 to Norwich as well. So respect to the Sky Blue Army. I will be streaming that one on Monday. Do join us for the watch along. Next up, Sophie, we go to Ellen Road, where top of the table Leeds United host playoff chasing Blackburn. I mean, they're in the playoffs at the minute, but their form's not brilliant. Blackburn have dropped points where you've least expected it. They lost 1-0 at home to Hull last time, and Leeds with a nice 1-0 win at Derby. And the main thing is, when they're winning, the teams around them aren't at the minute.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
Sheffield United drew, Burnley drew. If Leeds can just have this, I don't want to call it luck, because I think they're doing well on their own.
They're doing their job, aren't they?
But the teams around them, I suppose, if they drop points, that's a bit of luck that's going Leeds' way. And like I say, if they open up a little bit of a gap, that's what they need. I think they're going to win this. Blackburn haven't been too great lately. And Blackburn, while the games have been close, they keep losing like 1-0 to Hull, to Millwall. And I'm going to say they lose 1-0 to Leeds.
Okay, I'm actually going to say 2-0 Leeds. I do fancy Leeds more at home. Obviously, get the crowd behind them. It is the 12th man on the pitch. And yeah, just not concerned about Blackburn because they are a good team and I do like their manager. We've said it so many times now, but yeah, there are a couple little cracks there. I mean, you can't really be losing at home to Hull, where not many teams are losing at home to Hull at all. So yeah, I do see this going in favour of the favourites. So yeah, Leeds 2-0 for me.
Leeds 2-0.
Yeah, they're going to keep chugging along in that top place.
Yeah, fantastic job at the minute that Daniel Farke's doing, and the players they just look steady, and that's a very good sign, isn't it? Just being consistent. You don't even have to be too flashy, just keep winning 1-0 sometimes.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not even like you need to be blowing teams away. Right now it's just about securing the points.
Leeds fans, do share your thoughts. Is 2025 going to be your year? On to the next one, we go to Kenilworth Road as Luton host Norwich City. An interesting one. They only played a few weeks ago, obviously, at Carrow Road. I think was it a 4-2? It was a really entertaining game. Luton lost again to Swansea last time, a last-minute goal. Yeah. Rob Edwards is running out of answers. He says the same things every game.
Another red card as well.
Another red card, yeah. I mean, look.
What was it, 5 this season?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's quite a few. And away games, they are getting beat so often. It's a different story at home where I think they could actually get something, despite Norwich being the better team this season. I'll give Luton a draw. I'm going to say 1-1.
I really don't know. If I could go double chance, it'd be draw or Norwich. Go on, Norwich getting away win 2-1.
Ooh.
Yeah, just because you've gone a draw, I need to go a little bit different, but I know Luton are slightly better at home, but not enough. If Norwich turn up, I think they'll win. If they don't play their best, then I think it could be a draw. So I'm saying Norwich turn up.
Okay, do share your thoughts, guys, down below. Going for a draw and for Norwich. Not been a great year for Luton 2024. We've got to hope for better in 2025. The next game, Sophie, is down on the south coast as Portsmouth host high-flying Swansea. I mean, Swansea have been brilliant in 2024 towards the end of the year. I said it previously, wouldn't it be quite magnificent if they made it into the playoffs when no one expected it?
I don't think people are still expecting it, to be honest. When you're looking at like playoff chasing teams, no one's really mentioning Swansea. Yeah,
but that's maybe the best way to go about it. So, yeah. Go under the radar, and I could definitely see them sneaking another 3 points here. it's a different kettle of fish for Pompey when they're at home. They've just lost 2 away games.
Yeah.
In fact, they've lost 3 away games on the bounce, because remember, they lost to Derby 4-0 before the Coventry game.
Yeah.
It seems as if Portsmouth have been pretty poor lately, but when they played Coventry, they decided to turn into Barcelona, which is a bit annoying.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Callum Lang turned into Messi. I fancy Swansea more, but I think because it's at Fratton Park, I'm going to give Portsmouth something. Yeah. They need a result. 1-1.
I know, I'm tempted to say a draw. I'm tempted to say 2-2, but I don't know. I think Swansea, the way they're just plugging in those results right now, I think they might just edge it. I think it might be a late goal. I'm going to say 2-1 Swansea. They nick it late on.
Again, like they did against Luton.
Yeah, exactly like that. I think Portsmouth might go 1-0 up, but then Swansea completely turn it around. I do fancy Portsmouth more at home, but right now, the form Swansea are in, I'm backing them.
There you go. On to the next one, Sophie. We go to Hillsborough as Sheffield Wednesday host Derby County. Always an interesting matchup when these two face off. Last time at Pride Park, Sheffield Wednesday snatched it late on. Sheffield Wednesday have lost their most recent game, of course. They lost to Preston, as you predicted. Yeah. We quite like Sheffield Wednesday on this channel, but we did have a suspicion that they might not win, and you were right, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, Preston are such a frustrating team at times, and even if you're in really good form, you go there and it's like, oh, I was expecting to get something from that game, but no, I did see Wednesday losing that.
Well, there you go. We both did, of course, see Derby losing to Leeds. They gave a decent account of themselves, and they only lost the game fairly late towards the end, to be fair. As for this one, I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 2-0. I prefer Derby at home, and I've just... Do you know what? It's not a prediction, but I've got a hunch Sheffield Wednesday might make the playoffs this season.
Well, I mean, you could say that about so many teams, to be fair.
But I'm not saying it about every team in this video. I like the way they're moving.
Yeah. No,
I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. I just mean, if you look at certain teams, you think, well, they could make a late playoff push. So I think there could be a few goals in this one, actually. I'm going to say 3-1 Wednesday. I think it could be quite an entertaining game. Obviously, we've said before that we fancy Derby more at home. It wasn't a bad result against Leeds to just concede 1 goal. I mean, Coventry couldn't do it. So, yeah, they might want to keep this one close, but I do fancy Wednesday, and I think there could be, as I say, a few goals. So 3-1 Wednesday. There you
go. Both back in Wednesday by 2 clear goals. Yeah. Do share your thoughts on that game at Hillsborough. On to the next one then at the Hawthorns. West Bromwich Albion take on Preston North End. Straight away, I'm thinking draw, Sophie.
Well.
2 solid teams that just... In particular, Coventry struggle against these two, but they're just such stubborn opposition, aren't they? West Brom went to Sheffield United and got a draw. That's a really good result, and I thought Chris Wilder was a little bit prickly in his...
Oh, isn't he always when he loses or draws?
Well, yeah, that's it. He drew, and he seemed very bitter. Is that the right word? Maybe?
Yeah, he is bitter. In a lot of post-match interviews, when he hasn't won, he can come across quite bitter. Yeah,
and I saw some West Brom fans online not liking that. As for this one, they take on Preston, who got a great win against Sheffield Wednesday. I think they're both good, solid teams, and I think they're going to cancel each other out 0-0.
I'm going for a 0-0 as well.
Okay. And we must say, just because it's a 0-0 doesn't mean we think they're bad teams.
No.
0-0s can happen for good teams because they're, good defensively.
Yeah, I mean, how many times when Man United weren't complete dross, how many times did they have 0-0s with Man City? Doesn't mean they're 2 bad teams. It means that they're 2 good teams at times cancelling each other out. And I see the same happening here. I think they're going to really frustrate each other. I thought you were going to go for a 1-1. That's why I was thinking it might be a goalless one. Not going to change it now. I'm going to stick with the 0-0, and I just see them frustrating each other, to be honest.
There you go, both going for a goalless draw then. On to the next one, we go to Hull City versus Middlesbrough. Hull with a cracking win at Blackburn, did not see that coming. Massive 3 points, because I did say, when you're down in the bottom 3, away games at top 6 teams, you can almost write them off. But Hull City didn't want to write it off. They wanted to ride home with 3 points. It's a massive result. Middlesbrough, 0-0 against Burnley. Not a bad result. They've taken 2 draws from Burnley this season, which is pretty solid. Middlesbrough are favourites, but Hull City also have a lot to play for. I'm going to go for a Desmond, 2-2.
I'm going to say Hull.
Oh.
get another win.
Ooh.
I'm going to just edge them 2-1. I think their confidence needed that boost, and I'd say Middlesbrough, to be fair, they're the better team. If you look at their players, they are the better team on paper, but right now, who needs the points more? I mean, you could say they both need them because Middlesbrough for the playoffs, but yeah, I just feel like Hull are going to grind it out again. 2-1.
2-1. I like that. I mean,
I don't often back Hull.
No.
Well, not this season anyway.
No, that's a good point. And Middlesbrough are good, but very inconsistent sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
On to the final game then. We go to the Stadium of Light, Sophie. Sunderland versus Sheffield United. A really good matchup. Two teams that have been flying this season. Feels as if both are stuttering a little bit. Sunderland lost to Stoke late on. Sheffield United lost to Burnley and then only managed the draw against West Brom. I'm going to go down the middle and say 1-1.
Oh, so am I. Literally, as soon as you read the teams out, I thought that's going to be a draw. Sheffield United, they were frustrated by West Brom. I think Sunderland were even more frustrated by Stoke. So I think they're going to frustrate each other and it's going to be a draw again. 1-1.
1-1.
Yeah.
There you go. We're both going for a 1-1 draw. It is a big game though, so do share your thoughts if you're going to that one. If you're a Sunderland or Sheffield United fan, could have big ramifications to what happens at the end of the season. And there you go, guys. That wraps it up. That is our final Championship predictions video in 2024, but it is for the first few games of 2025. Once again, please do get involved by liking and subscribing. If you already have, then a massive thank you to you from us. Feel free to check out the Patreon as well, and we'll see you later today for Premier League predictions. Thanks for joining me, Soph.
Thank you.
Take care. Peace out.